All right, we are calling the December meeting to order. Minutes from the review of the 2022 minutes. Are there any comments? Assuming none. Make a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None. So minutes are thus hereby approved. And Chris Hector is now a separate item on the agenda. So
That's a first.
So we wanted to give you your 15 minutes of fame. Do you want me to kick it off or do you? Well, so I received an email that one never likes to see from Mr. Heck, informing us that this will be his last meeting with the Economic Development Council. So we're sorry to see him leave. He's been a valuable contributor to this group. But he's gone, but not forgotten. We'll still be very active with the Mount Lebanon Partnership and the Economic Vitality Committee. So by way of that, still able and you're always welcome to attend any of our meetings, but as a voting member, this will be the last meeting. So I don't know, Chris, if you want to say anything more than that. Or...
I just was reflecting a little bit on my schedule at work and 4 other boards that I'm on, not including the partnership. And it's, I don't know, 4 years, at least 3-4 years, something like that. But I just looked at everything we've accomplished and everything that the committee has been involved with. And I thought it was just a good time to pass the baton on to those who are interested. I'm going to continue to be on the Economic Vitality Committee. As a matter of fact, I think we have a meeting possibly this afternoon or early next week, right before the holidays, but it's been a pleasure. And I will be in touch with everybody. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I think again, everybody on this board adds something, but I think your background, experience, and was invaluable, and you will be missed. You will be missed. Next, discuss scheduling 2023 work plan development.
Yeah, I wanted to kick it off this morning. The Commissioner was unable to attend, so which is fine. We can pick this back up in January. I think it's important to have the commissioner as part of that discussion. As we discussed at the last meeting, the commission is realigning the boards. So that the EDC will still be the EDC as we know it in 2023, but moving into 2024, the EDC will have an expanded role related to sustainability, matters of sustainability. So so I'll just leave it at that. So my thought was that when we're looking at 2023 and tasks that we want to accomplish next calendar year, that we just have that lens that after 2023 the council will have a bit of an expanded scope, and we're already kind of working in that arena, with mobility. And then, of course, the eco district. So maybe things really won't change all that much. I don't have to remind everybody that the eco district portion really hasn't seen much activity. That I imagine would be something. So maybe just launch into the pillars here, these 3 focus areas, and maybe just get a scan of those in attendance on what we think might make sense. I can pull that all together, and then in January we can have a more robust discussion, and then sort of memorialize the work plan, for the coming year. So without further ado, the complete streets policy adopted. But that's one small step in a much longer, trip. So, I know, one of the, next steps that Seth and the commissioner, myself and others, have been discussing is, the idea of, pursuing, an active transportation plan and also working within the scope of the comprehensive plan, which is really going to be hitting the gas next year. So that's something to keep at the forefront of our thoughts. The EDC is going to have a big role in the comp plan and adding to that. So, I think, the active transportation plan related to complete streets is something that we're going to want to pursue. Seth, do you agree?
Yes, Eric,
Care of that?
did any funding get allotted in the budget for active transportation plan or no?
No.
So on that front, there are several grants from WalkWorks, which is a state level entity, and as well as Active Allegheny. They're smaller grant efforts, but the funding is directly assigned to either developing a complete streets policy, well, we've already done that, or an active transportation plan. And they also, the Active Allegheny one specifically suggests coordinating with local or other entities. And, Dormont is a potential partner in that, and they like to see that cross municipal coordination. So I think it's something to consider, and I'll try to share those. I don't think they've released 2023's sort of notice of funding opportunities for each of those, but I'll see if they have and get some more info, and maybe we can include those grant opportunities in the next discussion. But I think most critically, the policy is only one thing, but the active transportation plan is the actual implementation of this policy, or the first implementation.
Absolutely. And I would just add that while no dollars have been committed specifically for an active transportation plan, that doesn't mean that dollars aren't available. There's a couple of opportunities throughout the year, at least one, if not more, where the commission has an opportunity to reopen the budget. There's various budget adjustments that take place. And then there's also, obviously every year grants pop up and sometimes matching funds are required. So I don't want anyone to think that we can't still try to pursue those dollars in the next calendar year. So I'll just throw that out there. So active transportation sounds like something that we're going to want to pin on the work plan next year. So I made a note of that, and then we'll get some more information on the grants. Seth mentioned Dormont and cooperating with them. It wouldn't be the first time we've done that. And actually, we're about to enter into a new agreement with Dormont related to more financial management. We're going to be assisting the borough of Dormont with some administrative work on the financial end of things. So point being, we have a very good working relationship with that borough and obvious connections to them with multiple arterials. So makes good sense.
Good. Committee updates, mobility.
Well, the complete streets policy has passed. So we'll, as we were just mentioning, go into the next phase, which is looking at the active transportation plan, but also more directly and more immediately be involved in the comprehensive plan so that language is baked into that.
Discuss adding active transportation planning to work plan.
Yep, just did.
The Eco District, no report, but next steps.
Yeah, next steps. I know Anna Siefkin was interested in requested, we passed a motion to have quarterly reports. So, I'll have to discuss with Ian whether Greg is going to be the lead on that or myself, depending on how things, play out. But we still have those dollars committed, to the eco district plan. There had been some discussion about folding that into the comp plan, but really the eco district is something different, but should be recognized in a comp plan. But the comp plan doesn't supplant a true eco district. So I think we need to figure out who's going to be the lead on that to advance that. And my guess and hope is that it would be Greg.
For economic vitality, any update from the EDC committee?
Again, that baseline work has been completed. We're still waiting for that to go to the partnership board for their review and then approval, as they were the ones that funded it. They've been.
Can I help with that at all? Is there anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, certainly. I mean, you're still going to be.
No, I know. Can I help move that forward? Do you need help with the partnership?
Yeah, I would push it. Yeah, I would say that I would push it for
We are
sure.
meeting next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that got backburnered because the partnership embarked on a new strategic plan, a refresh of their strategic plan, and that commanded 2 board meetings to go through the process and adoption of that. So a lot of other projects were again backburnered, this being one of them. But it'd be great if we could get that on the January. Well, we're not meeting in January, so it would be February. But the February agenda, so we could just get that taken care of and moving forward. And again, just as a refresh, that was an inventory of both Uptown and Beverly Road, a fairly exhaustive inventory of current business uses, occupancy levels, all of that good information. So it's a snapshot in time. So that's the sort of the data metric, but from that, then that's the science. The art comes in with Town Center Associates, the consultant group that did the work. They analyzed the data and then come up with what they call a vibrancy index. So how vibrant from a business mix perspective are your districts? And again, that to me is more of an art, because what's vibrant to one isn't maybe to another, but so they're looking at retail use, restaurants, things like that, things where basically your average consumer would interact. So more retail, restaurant, less medical services, those types of things. So I haven't seen that yet, so I'm not quite sure what our vibrancy score is. My personal opinion is we're vibrant. So we'll see where that goes. But that again, the hard work is done, the footwork. So now it's just a matter of getting the study approved and out there, and that's something that the EDC as well as the Economic Vitality Committee can take advantage of for marketing purposes, business attraction, and also to influence policy.
See, anything else on let's say the vitality of the business property owner support?
Yeah, well, a lot of that is contingent on this Vibrant Uptown project, which is sort of in a pause right now for the winter weather, and I can discuss that in more detail later. But one of the notions is we used to do networking events in the district for the community. It wasn't just Uptown, it was really any business owner. And we would float around and we would call them meetups, and we would have them in various businesses, and it was a networking opportunity. We've held back on that for the sole reason that we didn't want what should be a positive event with interaction turning into a situation where people are simply speaking about one issue. So we've been kind of waiting for the Vibrant Uptown project to be in a better place, closer to conclusion before bringing those back. But throughout this project, we've been doing various things to try to support the district, and knock on wood, we have not seen any businesses close due to Vibrant Uptown. Certainly, there have been challenges, but to date, we've not had any casualties, fatalities, I guess. And the other districts are operating in a very strong manner. We're seeing new retail interest even on the Castle Shannon Boulevard corridor. Beverly Road is again back at 100% occupied, which is essentially unheard of. And Uptown continues to have a very low vacancy rate. So we've weathered COVID, economic downturn, and a very long in the tooth capital project. And knock on wood, we're still holding our own.
Great. See, for the baseline data gathering assessment, that's complete.
Yeah.
The grants, can you explain them?
Yeah, so the PHMC design guideline grant that was awarded, we have that is being channeled also through the partnership. So that's a $10,000 grant. They matched that with $15,000. So it's a $25,000 project. That went out to RFP. The proposals came in. The proposals have been reviewed. A recommendation was made to the partnership board, and they accepted that recommendation. We have not notified the consultant, so I'm not at liberty to discuss who that is at the moment, but that consultant has been selected. Work will commence in the first quarter of next year. The work product is looking at the Uptown district holistically from a design standpoint. So the facades, simply looking at facades of buildings. And that includes, not just, your fenestration and glazing and all of that, but also signs. So the types of signs that we're looking to encourage for the businesses, things of that nature. So this consultant will be tasked with doing a scan of the district, sort of the current state of affairs, making recommendations on what we should be encouraging and how to do that, creating a toolkit for property owners to maximize the historical and aesthetic quality of projects, facade renovations in Uptown. And then and a very important point is the guidelines will allow us now to go to the Commonwealth and apply for facade grants to help offset costs for property and business owners that want to do renovations. So it's an incentive tool as well as an important tool to encourage the appropriate renovations on the street. So if somebody wants dollars to renovate their storefront, we can avail them of that, but they have to adhere to the guidelines that we're going to be creating. So there will be a public process as part of that. That's in the contract that will be signed. So there'll be meetings with business and property owners as well as key staff at the municipal building. And we're going to be looking at obviously at best practices for a district similar to ours. So our hope is to have that project wrapped up sometime in late second quarter of next year. And then start to go after projects, target buildings along the avenue to avail themselves of facade grants.
Keystone Communities grant.
Yeah, this is the grant, which is the grant is for $22,250. The municipality is matching that, so that's $44,500. And again, this is for planning Vibrant Uptown Phase 2, which is focused more on placemaking type efforts. So looking more at Clearview Common, Parsway, the redesigned clock tower area, the area in front of the municipal building will be more like a plaza and opened up for programming and community gathering and things of that nature. So this is looking to plan out those sort of special places. We already have some baseline numbers and assumptions from previous work and discussion, But this will allow us to really get into a more granular level of what that means. So that grant, I've been sort of sitting on that till we got to a substantial completion with the first phase. Because it's kind of hard to plan the second phase when people are still very focused on the first. So that is winding down. It will be completed in the spring. So we will be kicking that off probably sometime mid next year, mid 2023. That grant sunsets September of 2024. So we're in good shape with that. And I imagine we'll be working with the design committee again and a focus group of individuals to advance that project. So that will get us conceptual and ultimately construction documents to begin the second phase.
Great. Number 3, zoning best practice exploration on hold for the comprehensive plan. I mean, I know that for me, that's self-evident.
Yes.
But for vibrant uptown update.
Yes, so if you've been uptown recently, you may have noticed that there's less activity. But there's still activity. So the contractor requested the use of an additive in concrete to continue the flat work, basically meaning the sidewalks. We denied them that option for various reasons. It's a very it can be done, but it has to be done to perfection. And we just feel
you don't need to. I mean, since this is public, you really don't need to get all that.
So-
details.
So, you know, we did not approve that. So you won't be seeing that work. But what you will be seeing is the pavers going in. Most of the lighting is in, with the exception of the phase by the municipal building. So that they'll continue electrical work, paving work, plantings have gone in. So it's really starting to pull together finally. And we had an event last Saturday that was very well attended, very successful. And we heard nothing but a very positive feedback. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Eric, do those planters have irrigation, permanent irrigation? Okay. And then under drains and all the approach. As a landscape architect, I fear for the viability of some of those plantings, just based on what was underneath. But I mean, I'm sure there were professionals involved. So I just
we do have a landscape architect, and let's do it this way, if any of those plants die, guess what? They'll have to replace them.
Yep. I like the mix. I mean, the river birches, the it looks like a nice mix so far, and quality installation. So
It is. Thank you. Yeah, and it is irrigated. That was a big issue with our previous planners. They were not, and it led to decades of issues. So this is a much better situation, and they're irrigated. They also have accent lighting in them. So in the evening, there'll be a nice additional lighting effect that the planners will add to the mix. So, you know, but with the plantings and the pavers starting to catch up to the flat work, you know, we're really starting to see it pull together. They're going to continue working in the clock tower area. I do get a lot of questions about that. That's a lot of that's a lot of pavers. So the concrete base is in or being installed. That's fine. That can continue. Then the pavers will go in. There's a significant amount of paver work in that area. So they are continuing to work on that. So there still will be good work happening. And then the flat work should continue mid-March and bang that out and be complete by the spring.
You know, the one section, I don't know what the numerical section, right when you come out of the saloon and that area, that whole section right there. I had 5 people from out of town. We went up to one of the World Cup games. We came out and that's a really good sample size of what the completion, they all commented, wow, they looked at the whole thing. They're not from the area. They didn't know what it looked like before. And it was really impressive. It was really nice. And that's a good area. If you haven't seen or you don't know what it's going to look like when it's completed, go up there and see that section is completed, right?
Yeah, there are a number of sections that are very close to 100% completion. There's some background stuff, like we're waiting for some electrical panels and various things. But that's stuff that the average person wouldn't notice. But yeah, I think if you haven't been up, I encourage you to, and especially in the evening, you can see how the lighting has improved. You know, for the pedestrians along the Ave, and yeah, so we're very, very excited for this phase to come to fruition. And yeah, we are, now that it's starting to tie together, people are starting, it's a lot easier for people to see the design intent.
Great. Commercial districts update.
East End Brewing is framed, and the framing inspection is complete and approved. So drywall has been brought in. They're looking to open the end of January, early February. They had a pop-up at a event we had last Saturday. Very brisk business in there. They were selling beer to go, and you could have a can of beer there and take a tour with the owner of the business. So a lot of excitement for that. And he's also planning to do some additional pop-ups until they open, just to keep the enthusiasm up. So that's they should be turning the open light on very soon. We have another retail home decorating business that is being framed out on Central Square, right behind Bistro 19. They're making great progress. So that will be an additional retail opportunity in the Uptown District. Needle and Bean on Castle Shannon is moving forward. They've submitted all of their architectural plans and are going through that process. They also hope to open early next year. I'm very excited for that one. It's an interesting mix. It's a coffee shop, but also a vinyl record store. So it'll be a nice gathering place for folks in the Sunset Hills neighborhood. And of course, anyone, but you know, that's where it's at. So that's across the street from Caliente's, where the Northside Carpet had been located. So they're going to activate that space very soon. So excited to hear that. Beverly Road is churning along just fine. The bank on Cochrane is moving along.
Are they using all that space? I mean, it's at least I'm glad with the project that they tore down the drive-through that was used maybe 1 year out of the 20 years of that space.
That is a lot of space, isn't it?
It is. It's
And banks are consolidating their space these days.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, they'll have a drive-through, of course. So they've redesigned the site to accommodate traffic flow, and there'll be some parking and things of that nature. But that's moving along. Speaking of banks, PNC, you know, there's still tenant interest there. So once something is you know, signed, then we can discuss that. But you know, there's still great interest there. And then I have a number of leads that I'm trying to find space for, but we just it's that Goldilocks situation. You know, our spaces are either too small or too big, or not available. The ones that folks are looking for. So you know,
Does the bagel place have a temporarily or semi-permanently on hold? Because
yeah, she's still looking for another location, but she's still very interested in Mount Lebanon. That's her focus area, and she's been very patient. And you know, I'm hopeful that we can find something for her. There's a couple of different leads that we're pursuing right now, but nothing that is ready to
new business, Winter Market, big success.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rough year, I'm not gonna lie, for various reasons, but, you know, there was a decision made to not do light up night in the traditional manner. So we took that opportunity to sort of, do something else. And, what happened was this winter market and holiday celebration, which happened last Saturday from 10 to 3. And anybody that was up here, I think it was an unbridled success. I spoke to 2 businesses that said they had some of their best days since the pandemic. A lot of foot traffic, people were buying things. They were up here not just coming to see Santa or, you know, listen to a group play music. They were shopping, dining, getting coffee. Elizabeth at Uptown Coffee specifically was like, it was the best day she's ever had. So I mean, that's not hyperbole. You couldn't get in there. So we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again next year. We're gonna do it even bigger and better. We got a lot of positive press. You know, so we got some free advertising for the district. And yeah, overall, it was just a great success. So we had all the things you would anticipate with the holiday celebration. You know, everything from Santa to carolers to bell ringing, to a cookie tour, an elf hunt. You know,
Train display was.
train
pretty cool.
display.
Cool.
Yeah, lots of stuff, and Chris Heck helped volunteer to get us set up and ready to go. So we're gonna do that again next year, I think, and you know, just one final point on it. You know, the light up. I've been here now 15 years, and we've done a light up night every year. And while it's a nice event, a special event, it's a difficult event. It's dark, it's cold. It's after work for a lot of families. They rush up here, they get their picture, they get in line for Santa, and then they go home. What we did this past Saturday, I think is a much better model to repeat. It has a positive, real impact for the businesses, but still affords folks the opportunity to have that photo shot and enjoy, you know, the students performing music and all of that. So I think we're having actually today we're having a wrap up meeting, and we're going to discuss how to move forward next year. But I think next year you're going to see what you saw this year, but even better, bigger, and probably bake the tree lighting into that activity.
Eric, I just want to give kudos on Beverly Bright Night. I think you and I ran into each other and I was like, is there any pushback here? Because I think it's amazing for the kids. We walked over, I saw that meteor fly through the sky. If anyone else saw it that night.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't look like a firework with that trajectory, but that was wild. The Beverly Bright Night's perfect because the road is closed. You can hit all the businesses. I absolutely love it as a parent and just somebody that can walk there. So good success on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, I failed to mention that it's just that, you know, what most fresh in my mind is the most recent one, but Beverly's always been, I'll say it publicly, my favorite, just because it's everything Seth just said. And, you know, it's a great, a lot of it's a true residential neighborhood event. So it's all you see, just there's a traffic jam of strollers and families coming up to the district for it. And yeah, we really enjoyed helping out with that. And we expanded it this year, a half an hour. We'll see where it goes next year. I mean, that probably is baked in, that additional half hour. But I know there's some merchants, some new blood on that street that are interested in getting involved and making it bigger and better moving forward. So thank you for saying that.
Excellent. Any other new business before the board? Okay, seeing not, any public comments? Seeing not there, come make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
To adjourn.
All right.
I'll second, Chris.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Hi.
Opposed? All right, we have it. Thank you very much, and happy holidays, and see you all in Friday, January 27th.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Everyone, see
Thank
you
you.
next
Happy
year.
holidays. Thank you.